Hey guys, Courtney Mermaid here. I'm trying out a little bit of a new setup. Instead of hauling out my laptop every 5 minutes to do a video, which is a real pain in the butt, I figured I'd try my phone, so hopefully this is gonna turn out okay. Alright, so this is gonna be the next part of my tail making series of videos, part 3 if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Yeah, part 3. So I've cut out my tail now. You can see the amount of trim that I've left is just a little bit. You don't want to leave a super huge amount because you're going to have it like bunch up on the sides, but you don't want to leave too little. Otherwise, if any damage occurs, you don't have any extra room to work with to fix it. So now comes the part of the next stage is basically the waistband. So that's going to be up at the top. Now I originally left a note for myself where I was going to leave the space to fold it over for an elastic waistband, but after I did those 3 really cute little spandex tails, I did a different style waistband in those. I thought it would be fun to try that on this one as well. Now of course I didn't plan that until like just 5 minutes ago, so I've already sewn this and done all the other measurements. So I'm going to try it on, make sure it fits, and hopefully it does, otherwise we will be doing a regular elastic waistband. Okay, so a couple of tips when you are going to be testing out your tail. For those of you who followed some of my other videos, if you've already added your elastic bands to hold things in place, take one of them off so that you can loosen your monofin, because for your tests, you're not going to need to have it as tight as you would need it when you're actually swimming, and believe me, you're going to thank yourself, because putting on this and the tail when everything's dry and your feet aren't and it's sticky and it's gross, you're going to hate yourself. So just loosen one of them like I've done here. I actually broke the elastic. I've got backups, but they eventually get old and you have to change them. So always keep spares. But yeah, so that's the plan. At this point, for trying on your tail, you can flip it the right side on the outside now, so you can have your nice finished seams on the outside, because now of course you've cut it and it's ready to go. So whenever you're trying on your tail, always make sure that you have your monofin in it, because it's not going to do you any good to know oh yeah, it fits perfectly here, and then as soon as you put the fin in, you lose a bunch of space, and then it doesn't fit anymore, and then you're trying to sew on extra fabric and whatnot. So always do your tests with your fin, just pretend it's part of your feet, right? Okay, so if you've done everything correctly and followed along with the videos and stuff, things should be fitting a little bit nice and snug here. You're only going to be able to get it so tight. This isn't quite fitting totally 100% yet. It is going to look different as well once you put in the plastic fringe. So I've left the excess for now because I still have to calculate how much space I'm going to need for my Velcro, so I'm probably going to need that much space for the Velcro all the way around. Okay, this is a little wobbly because I'm holding the thing. So apparently I either really miscalculated something, or maybe I did it on purpose. It was so long ago when I started this, I don't really remember now. But yeah, the waist actually, pardon my chest here, comes all the way up to here. So, so I've actually got a ton of room to work with this now. Okay, here we go. So, I have it on still. Let me just try and make an adjustment here. Alrighty. So now you gotta decide where you want this to sit, right? So my belly button's here, tummy, my underwear sort of sits somewhere around here. So in a tail, you're gonna know when you swim, it's gonna get pulled back on you like that. So you're gonna want this to fit snug, but you're not gonna want to suffocate yourself either, because when you're sitting, if you've got a little bit of a tum like I do, which is fine by the way, you don't want your seam to sit right here or right through your belly button. It doesn't look quite as nice. So, and it also feels awful because it cuts off your circulation, which is fantastic. So you probably do it if you've got my kind of shape, where the thinnest part of my waist is right here. So that's going to be where I have it sit. So that, as you can see, leaves me this much excess. I could probably actually get it a little bit snugger. Okay. So here we go. So we're going to do it like that. All right, so I'm going to make myself a little, oh God, this sometimes you wish you had there. And I am using a pen. Don't use a pen. This just happens to be the exact same color as the color I'm going to be using, so, and it's on the inside of my tail, so I'm not too panicked, but There we go. So that's going to be one side, and that's going to be, which is actually almost where I had it marked, but it's always really important to double and triple check. Good. Okay, so that's pretty much going to get folded over twice in on itself to make a nice smooth waistband without the line going across the top, so I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm going to pop out of this, get my shorts back on, and then we're going to get started on the waistband. Okay, so now we flip the tail inside out again, because that's where all of our work gets done. Throw that out there. I'm working on my kitchen counter again. I've moved a bunch of stuff to give my, speaking of more space, to give myself a touch more space. So here we go. So you can see my little markings where I'm going to go across, and that's where the top of my waistband will be. That'll be the actual like seam, not where I'm folding it over. So, I mean, yes, where I'm folding it over. I'm on it, okay? So I'm going to fold it over once, and then once more, and I will do this nicer, but for the sake of you guys sitting there watching me for hours on end. So it'll end up being like this, and then when you see it on the other side, you won't have a seam. Okay, so an important thing to keep in mind is that it's like the finishing touches that are gonna really make or break your tail. So when you do anything, don't just do like when I was showing you just now, like that really quick, like here's just what it's gonna be. Don't make that your final, just do that as your example, right? So I'm actually gonna fold it so that the seams fold nicely in on each other. So that way it's gonna lie nice and flat on your skin. It's not gonna be like a big bumpy, bumpy mess, which is what some people do. And that's pretty good. So, and then you're gonna fold it over one more time, and then that's where you're gonna pin it. And this is not gonna be getting an elastic in it. As I explained before, I have done, I think 2 or 3 of my tails don't have elastics in the waistband, and I did like how that was working, so after I did it with those 3 small tails, I thought I would do one more like that. Oop, just poked myself. All right, so remember folding in, so you just pull it, which is again why you leave yourself a little bit more space, because if you imagine now, if this is much finer, it's gonna be a lot more finicky and a real piss off to deal with. This style of waistband is really good if you're making a tail for a child and you leave excess so that way they can grow into the tail a little bit. It's quite clever. It's actually my grandmother's idea. I really shouldn't take credit for this. My Oma was like, oh, well, why don't you just fold it over? My Oma used to sew for a living. Very talented. Ooh. To this day, I still come to her with issues and questions and stuff, my 83-year-old Omi. All right, so that's how that looks nice and finished. It might seem like a little bit, oh, it's a kind of bit bubbly. That's not a big deal. That's gonna, that'll sort itself out as it goes. If you're also interested, you can add darts going down it. I didn't really love that look. I mean, it worked and it was functional. The lines going down were a little bit weird. You can disguise that with sequins and stuff, but for now I'm just gonna leave this as is my nice waistband. And yes, it might come out, but because it's gonna be stitched nicely down the sides, even if it does, it'll just tuck itself back under. Really easy, very simple. So there you go. So just because I had a feeling there might be some questions later, here's also the waistband I did on my tail. This one has an actual elastic in it. The elastic helps to a certain extent. It's not like vital. I know some girls are gonna be like, oh, you're crazy, what are you talking about? But I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. I know, I got it. but that's what that's gonna look like on the inside. Again, you'll see that I folded it over nicely. You know, you leave your little, is this the side? This is not the side. This is the side where the elastic is. So I didn't do a super nice job here, but got a little bit hairy, as you can see, but you leave a space and then you feed the elastic through. You sew the elastic together, really like heavy duty sew that thing in, and then you just finish the stitch. So I actually need to do a little bit of a fix here. Obviously, I haven't done any maintenance to this tail yet, so it's got some spots where it's gonna need some love. Okay, so since my last video, I actually went out and got myself more white thread because I was really like, this dodgy, weird white thread that I don't know where it came from, this stuff. I mean, it's fine. It feels actually quite similar to this, but yeah, so this is the good stuff. And of course, this is the same stuff that I listed in the above. I can actually point above in that way video as well, so there you go. Okay, so for this one, sorry, my guy's just running out. He's got to get a new battery for his car. It's a whole thing. Poor guy. So I've got it pinned where I want it, and I'm going to use a nice zigzag stitch to just up and down. I got my machine set up. You guys can't see it, but you'll see it in a second. I do kind of cheat when I do these. If you're not super comfortable doing what you're doing, you're going to want to actually just baste and up the sides, just here and maybe here, just right down the middle. I have done this a couple of times, so I'm going to just fly ahead with it. Go over it a few times, like I'll show you guys, but just to make sure that it's like secure and really sturdy, because this is an area where you are going to tug on it, because when you're trying to pull it up and you're trying to inchworm in there, and it is an area that's going to get a little bit more wear and tear. The other pro that I totally was thinking of that just hit me now is you may have noticed on the other tail there was some fraying along the exposed edge of just under the elastic. Because this is actually going to be folded up and under, I'm curious to see how much wear and tear it's going to sustain in the same way. I will definitely report back as I use this tail, let you guys know how that panned out. I have a feeling that it's going to be a little bit less wear and tear because it's not rubbing against anything. It'll be rubbing up on the inside of something, not like against a bathing suit bottom or your pants or something. So yeah, here goes. Okay, so we're ready to go. I'm going to be using the zigzag stitch on this, which is option number 3 on my machine. So I pop that puppy in here, put my little foot down. This is a little bit tricky because it's going through, technically it's going through like 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of fabric. Kim, if you're watching this, you're going to be laughing at me when I tell you that with yours it was even harder because we had the plastic to go through too. So zigzag stitch. And let's do this thing. Okay, so for this one I am actually having to push it through a little bit more, and also be very careful because if you're doing what I'm doing and you're leaving the pin in, watch when you're getting, like, go slow. When you get closer, you're just gonna pop that pin out and then you just go right back up because you don't want to accidentally break a needle on the pin, which I've done. I'm not just saying that I've done it, I've actually done it, and I snapped one of my sewing needles and it was quite scary, so. This is supposed to have a sensor on it, by the way. It's supposed to know when it hits stuff that's not material. Anyways, so here we go. So feeding it through. Nice and good. Okay, so I'm getting really close to my pin, so I'm just gonna pull that. Oh my goodness, there we go. Pull that sucker out. And now you just wanna be extra careful because stuff might move around just a little bit, but you're just gonna keep going. There it is. And then using the back button on your machine, you're gonna hold that and you're gonna go back up. Oh, I think have I dropped my thread again? I'll be really ticked if I've dropped my bobbin again. I hope not. Anyways, fingers crossed, guys, fingers crossed. So continuing back, up we go. A little bit further, come on. There we go, and then go back one more time. It's not picking it up, I don't think. Anyways, okay, let's see what happened. Did it? Oh, it did. Oh, you know, I haven't got it fed through the... Oops. Oh, well, it worked, so that's okay. Just give me a second. So yeah, it would appear that no matter how many times you... Oops, Daisy. My guy's coming back inside, my dog's in hysterics. So it would appear that no matter how many times you sew, occasionally you'll forget, you know, stuff. Like how to feed your needle through the thing. Oh well, anyways,
Should excuse, I gotta sneak by.
Really? I'm getting bombed here. Look at this. Look at
Hey guys.
Who's this guy here? Troublemaker! Oh my goodness. Anyways, so, what was I saying? Yes, okay, so it worked fine. So this is nice and sturdy, right? Nice and good. This is the kind of thing you can definitely disguise with some sequins. The paint's gonna cover it up nicely. But imagine now, instead of having the huge thick line all the way around with your triple stitch, because that's what you would have to use, because you're tugging on it and it needs to hold, right? So instead you just have one on this side and one on the other side. It's nice and sturdy. It feels quite, you know, a little bit thick, but it's gonna work for what we need it for. So So that's what that looks like. Pretty cool, right? Spifftastic. All right. Okay, so now I'm just gonna do the same thing to the other side. Okay guys, so that worked out. Oh my god, my dog is photobombing in the background. Okay, so that worked out pretty well. I've got it on, so I can show you guys. I'm gonna try and get kind of closer here. Remember, don't jump in your tails, you know, says she who's jumping in her tails. Okay, it's a little hard to see, but there you go. That's the finished edge there. And that's what that's gonna look like. So folded over. I got a little bit messy here. I might actually seam rip this and try it one more time because it got a little gibbled there. My machine was having a little bit of a hissy fit. So, but yeah, so that's what that looks like. And again, the fabric looks a little bit see-through as is, but it actually, with the paint, it actually doesn't show through. So I've been pretty happy with it so far. So that's how that looks. All right. And that, my lovelies, is how you do a waistband on your tail. So the only difference between that waistband and this one is that this one is just sewn all the way around with the same triple stitch as we did for the inside, but that just goes all the way around, and you just do it the width of your elastic with a little bit extra, and that's how that gets accomplished. So it's not too much too different. I will probably in the future show, I will probably in the future show you guys how to do that if there's enough interest in it. It really is a very simple thing to do. So this one I'm excited for because it's just a lot more smooth. So you still have that security where it's going to feel a little bit tight and it'll hold up, but it's not going to be as obvious, I guess, as it was with the actual elastic. So anyways, good luck guys. This is going to be it for this video. The next video, I believe I'm probably going to show the base, how to get that going with the fringe. So this stuff, woohoo! Pretty excited about that. I'm going to show you guys how to make the pattern, cut it out, glue it in, all that good stuff. And then from there, guys, we're getting into painting. So exciting. I was thinking of doing also one of these guys. I don't know if I actually want one in this tail. Now that I've like gotten this far and seen my designs and stuff, I might. So that's going to be a maybe if I'm feeling up to it kind of a thing. But I will eventually show you guys how to do a dorsal fin. One that stands up a little bit too. It's kind of fun. Okay, and as always, if you guys have any thoughts or anything that I didn't cover that you definitely want me to cover, make sure that you fire me a message, email, or what have you. And otherwise, happy swimming and happy tail making! Bye, guys!